Hi there, everyone. My name is Dr. Katie Lynch, and I'm the chair of the Sam Draper Honors Program at Rockland Community College. This video that I'm making today is going to teach you how to write a transfer essay. And we're going to use two examples from previous students who have been successful. But I'm going to begin by showing you the kind of situation in which you might have to write a transfer essay. And we'll start with the common application for transfer. So if you are currently at a community college or at a four-year school, and you're hoping to transfer to a four-year school, you will likely have to interact with the common application for transfer, although there may be other applications that you need to submit. For example, if you're applying to the City University of New York, to CUNY, you will need to fill out their application. And if you're applying to SUNY, you should use their application, not the common application, especially if you're applying from another SUNY institution like Rockland Community College. I'm always happy to answer questions about the specifics of transferring, but for now, we're just going to dive right in to where to find essay prompts in the common application for transfer. Now, this account is my own. It's an account that I have made, and I renew it every year so that I can see what the students are seeing. So this account is me acting like I am a transfer student. First of all, if you have added programs to your application, you will be able to see those programs in the program materials section. And the Common App contains all kinds of information and sections that you need to complete, but for the purposes of essays, you need to focus on the program materials section. We'll click on that section first, and then you'll see that I've added several schools. In fact, I've added these schools as I've been helping students with their transfer process. And I want to start here, the example I'm going to use is Cornell University. So if I want to apply to Cornell University, and I'm looking for where I need to write essays, I go to the program materials section and I click on Cornell. You always want to read the information that's in the Home tab here, just because it's often useful to you. It'll contain information about how to follow them on social media, what their test policies are, etc. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the Questions tab, and we're also going to look at the Documents tab, just for the purpose of essay writing. In the Questions tab, what you'll see, and each school asks different questions, so this isn't standardized across all schools like the rest of the Common Application for Transfer is. They're going to ask you a number of questions. Most of them are drop-down menus. For Cornell in particular, you need to clarify which part of Cornell you're applying to. And for this example, we're going to apply to the College of Human Ecology. And then when we do that, we're prompted to select a major within that college. And in this case, Human Biology, Health, and Society is going to be my major. Once I've done those things, that choice of which part of Cornell to apply to triggers a certain question that I'm being asked. And you'll see that the question is relevant only to the school, the part of Cornell that I'm applying to. The question is this: how has your decision to apply to the College of Human Ecology been influenced by your related experiences? How will your choice of major impact your goals and plans for the future? When you see a big text box like this, a big empty text box, and an open-ended question, you know it's time to write an essay. And so what you want to do is you want to copy this question and paste it into a Google Doc or a word processing file of some other kind so that you can work on the essay outside of this box. You do not want to type your essay into the box. You want to copy and paste it from a Google Doc or another word processing system. And you only want to paste it into the box once you have had other people review that essay for you, okay? Now you'll see here that you have 4,000 characters to work with, and that sounds like a lot, but if I start typing in the box, which again, don't do this for your essay, but if I start typing, I'll do the standard, the quick, brown, fox, etc., you'll see that the character count includes spaces, okay? So you actually have fewer words than you think. So one of the things you'll want to do is whenever you, copy this essay prompt into a Google Doc, you're going to also copy the word count or character count into that document so that you know exactly how much you have to work with, right? You want to make sure that you're keeping that in mind as you write your essay, okay? Now, if I scroll down a little bit more, I see this is the only essay in this section. But it's not the only essay that Cornell wants you to write. And the other essay may be found in documents, okay? Now, I want to continue. You would want to save your work. I don't, because I'm not actually applying to Cornell. Go Dartmouth. That was a joke. Anyway, so here we are in the documents section, okay? Now you'll see that there's another piece of writing that Cornell wants from you. It's a personal statement. And so up here at the top, you read carefully. Okay, it's really important to read every single section very closely and carefully. The personal statement helps colleges get to know you better as a person and a student. Please provide a 1250 to 3250 character statement discussing your educational path. That's roughly 250 to 650 words. How does continuing your education at a new institution help you achieve your future goals? Okay, so that document needs to be saved as a PDF and then uploaded, right? You can still create the document and work on it in Google Docs and then save it as a PDF. But you'll see you upload it here. So Cornell has 2 essays, and they're found in 2 different sections of the Common Application. That's why it's so important to read every section carefully, okay? Now, let's remember, when we went back to questions here, and I selected the College of Human Ecology, okay, I was given a very specific question. And we can scroll down and look at that again. How has your decision to apply to human ecology been influenced by your related decisions? How will your majors impact your goals and plans for the future? Well, I now want to turn to the first sample essay that we have. And this essay was written by Niola Etienne. And yes, she asked for my help on it. I remember reviewing this essay and giving her suggestions, and she talked to a few other people as well. And Niola was applying to the College of Human Ecology. And the reason why I just teed up that question is because this is the question that she answers in the essay. So what I want to do is I want to show you, we're going to read through it, and I'm going to show you how she answers it and what she does really well. Okay? So first of all, you must answer the question. It's really important to answer the question. This specific question is about the College of Human Ecology and why you want to be there and how this fits into your ultimate goals. And if you don't answer that question, then Cornell is going to say, you don't sound like a good fit to our program because you don't really know what the College of Human Ecology is about. So one important thing that Niola did right away was that she researched the College of Human Ecology. She looked at the various majors. She looked at the programs and classes that they offer. She looked at the special opportunities offered by that school. She looked at its mission statement. Okay, you don't want to copy or plagiarize any of that, but you do need to be familiar with it so that you can link your situation and your experiences and your goals to the mission of that college. The other really helpful thing that Niola did was she thought about specific anecdotes, stories that she could tell, true stories about her experiences at RCC while she was a student there and other things that she did during that time. And she thought about which anecdotes make the best evidence for my thesis. And ultimately, your thesis in every essay you write is you should accept me. That's really at the underlying, kind of claim that you're making in all college essays, even when the question isn't directly about that. Okay? So what we're going to do is read through this, pay attention to how she answers the question by using her own experiences described in detail as good evidence. So, at Cornell, I plan to major in human biology, health, and society at the School of Human Ecology. My ultimate goal is to get a medical degree and work in the field of public health with a focus on low-income communities in both the United States and in developing countries. I am specifically interested in developing new policies around women's health. In my home country of Haiti, for example, most women don't have access to sex education, birth control, and prenatal care due to economic reasons. I want to be a force for positive change in Haiti and elsewhere. I love this first paragraph for a bunch of reasons. It's very clear, it's very direct, and it starts to answer the question right away, okay? The focus, the clarity, all of that is very important. Remember that an admissions officer is reading this essay very quickly. Right now, we know a lot about Niola. We know which part of Cornell she wants to be in. We know what her ultimate goal is. We know that partly that goal comes from her own background as Haitian and as an immigrant to the United States. And she wants to be a force for positive change, and she's hoping that Cornell can help her move forward along that path. The next paragraph. The human biology, health, and society major is perfect for me because it will prepare me for medical school and it will give me a background in sociology as well. This combination will prepare me for work in the field of public health. This past fall, I took a public health course and a civil rights course at the same time. Many of the topics in class overlapped or explained each other, leading me to realize that it's impossible to understand public health without understanding the history and culture of a community. I learned that public health policies often mirror society's views on medical issues. This has been true in the past, such as during the HIV/AIDS crisis, and in the present, as in the case of the abortion debate. Everything is interconnected, and I want to understand how and why it is that way. This paragraph is a lovely combination of past experience. She's talking about 2 classes she took and how they overlapped in their subject matter and how much insight and sort of inspiration she gained from that. And it also shows her sort of intellectual breadth and depth, right? That she's interested intellectually in how public health issues intersect with other issues in society. That's why she's so passionate about this. She realizes that, yes, at this particular point in her life, she wanted to become a doctor, but she also is really passionate about the fact that, the medical issues that we confront in a community have to do with and are interconnected with the issues that are happening at all levels of society. And this really shows you her intellectual curiosity. It also helps you understand the kind of coursework that she's taken, but it doesn't just list courses. You don't need to do that, right? The Cornell is going to see your transcript. They're going to have that right alongside while they're reading your essay. What's more important is what you gained from these courses and the impact they made on you. And she does a really good job of demonstrating that impact. And it connects to her main thesis, which is I want to be in the College of Human Ecology in this major because I'm so passionate about public health. Okay? My focus on women's health is another reason why the Human Biology, Health, and Society major is a good fit for me. An honors class I took in my first year at RCC called Women, Men, Sex, Power helped me learn more about where gender roles and norms come from and how they impact society. I want to expand on this foundation at Cornell so that I address public health challenges facing women across the world. In addition to my goal of being involved in women's policy, I also want to get my medical degree so that I can have experience doing clinical work in lower income communities. This will help me prepare for a career serving women in such communities around the world. So she makes another claim that she's interested specifically in women's health, and she links that to her experience in an RCC honors class, reinforcing that she was in the honors program, challenging herself. She mentions something she learned from that class, gender norms and where they come from and how they impact society. She wants to expand on that foundation at Cornell. She's excited to have the opportunity to do that so that she can focus specifically on women's public health, which is something she mentioned in her intro paragraph. And then she also mentions why she wants to get her medical degree specifically to focus on lower income communities. And again, all of this is feeding into that first paragraph, that introduction, which stated her claims. We're getting evidence for her claims through her personal experience. Cornell will be the perfect stepping stone to the career I have in mind. The university's mission is similar to my own, which is to be a global citizen and to discover and disseminate knowledge. Cornell has a lot of research opportunities for its students, which I am very interested in. In doing research at Cornell, I hope to be able to gain access to state-of-the-art technology and lab equipment, and I would be surrounded by people who are very passionate about their research. I am well prepared for research because this past summer, I participated in, now there's a typo here, but she still got into Cornell, friends, so you don't want typos, but if one happens, it's not the end of the world usually, okay? So she participated in the Bridges program at SUNY Purchase, where I worked with a molecular biologist on a project involving pronuclear fusion in a single-celled organism. The organism was called Tetrahymena. I am currently taking a research course where we are annotating the genes of a virus. My experience with research has taught me that you learn even more in the lab than inside the classroom, because you gain the experience of using the scientific method in a hands-on way. I especially enjoy projects that have the potential to help people improve their quality of life. Okay? Now, this is a fantastic paragraph because she begins by talking about how Cornell's mission is similar to her own and links that mission to research, and then talks about how well prepared she is to continue doing research at Cornell because of the experiences that she has managed to get while being a student at RCC. She talks about the Bridges program, which allows her to do research in a lab to get that kind of experience, which is just wonderful. And then she talks about a class she is taking where they're doing gene annotation. And so she's proving to them that she's ready, she's prepared for more lab work and more research experience by talking about the research experience she already has. And that's the perfect way to do it, okay? Now you'll notice she also talks about what she learned from the lab, and that's really important too. You're getting a sense of her as intellectually curious, as passionate about the sciences. That just shines through the way that she's talking about these experiences. Okay? In addition to research opportunities, there are also many public health and global health opportunities available at Cornell, such as global health summer programs in the Dominican Republic and India. Furthermore, I am interested in Cornell's diverse student body and student-run organizations and clubs. I would be interested in joining the Black Women's Support Network and in taking advantage of programs for pre-med students. Cornell is the best place to prepare me for my goals, and I hope to join your community in the fall. A really strong conclusion here. She names specific programs like studying abroad in the DR, studying abroad in India, joining the Black Women's Support Network. She has done her homework, and she is proving to Cornell that she belongs there, that she's going to be happy there and be a good fit there, just as Cornell is a good fit for her. Okay? You'll notice that this essay doesn't take a lot of artistic risk. I'm not saying that you can't take artistic risk. You are welcome to do that if that is something that you're passionate about. But in general, I have helped a lot of students with a lot of transfer essays. And what I find is that the more professional they are, the better usually. Okay? Some students have been able to make, really interesting stories work for them, or writing a personal statement in a poem. I've seen it work, okay? But it's rare. And so for most of you, you're going to want to write a statement like this, a clear, compelling, evidence-based statement that takes what you've done, describes specific anecdotes, and uses those anecdotes as evidence in the service of your claim that you belong at Cornell, doing this thing, studying in this part of the school. Okay? Now, I'm going to move forward to another set of essays, actually, called by Kyla Walden, who graduated a couple years ago. And Kyla ended up at USC, the University of Southern California. Now, this USC application required several essays. Some of them were longer than others. And we're not going to look at her very first essay. I want to scroll down here and talk about some of the shorter answer essays, because sometimes these essays are really difficult to do, right? When you have a short answer that you don't have a lot of word count, you have to answer a question, you still have to tell anecdotes or stories from your own personal experience. Sometimes this is really tricky. And I specifically want to talk about how to manage the situation where you want to tell a sad story that happened to you, but you don't want it to turn into a sob story where you're just asking for pity, okay? Because a lot of us have challenging experiences in our life, and we want to talk about those challenging experiences in an essay, but you don't want to throw a pity party. No school is going to accept you because they feel sorry for you. They're going to accept you because they think that you will be a contributing member to their community. And so it's really important when you're telling a story about a challenge you've overcome to focus more on how you overcame it and what you learned than on the challenge itself. And Kyla does this beautifully in this particular essay prompt, so I'll read it to you. USC believes that one learns best when interacting with people of different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. Tell us about a time you were exposed to a new idea, or when your beliefs were challenged by another point of view. And here's her answer. When I was outed as a lesbian in 9th grade by a fellow classmate, I was met with animosity from some of my peers. I was told that I was too open about my sexual identity, and a student even complained to the guidance counselor about my presence in the gym locker room. At first, this was extremely discouraging, but as my confidence in my identity strengthened, I turned these disputes into an opportunity to change the narrative at my high school. At the end of freshman year, I created the first LGBTQ+ club on campus, which attracted a small crowd initially. As the community began to open up, the group grew larger and more vocal about their opinions and concerns. Eventually, the student who made the initial locker room comment was taken out of the institution by her parents, and I regret that I was unable to have a productive conversation with her before she left. This regret has been part of my motivation to continue my advocacy work in college by attending a weekly LGBTQ+ discussion group, as well as several other LGBTQ+ initiatives. Most recently, I was invited to join 2 peers and a faculty member in a classroom conference call with students from China in order to answer their questions about American queer identity politics. As I prepare to transfer, I am committed to positively influencing my next academic environment by becoming involved in other LGBTQ+ groups and advocacy efforts. I want to positively influence change in this area, to promote a culture of open-mindedness, understanding, and empathy between the LGBTQ plus community and various cultural and religious demographics. Okay? So again, short answer, 250 words total. Think about the amount of time that Kyla spends talking about the part that was really hard. Okay? She spends a few sentences, 2 to 3 sentences, 2.5 basically. Almost immediately, as soon as we know what happened, she focuses on how she turned these disputes into opportunity. She focused on what she did in response to them. And you'll see, she talks about herself in high school, but then she goes on to talk about all of the wonderful things that she did at RCC to add to the community, to continue educating people. And she mentions, working with a professor, being on a panel, and then she says that she wants to continue doing this work at her next institution. This tells you a few things about Kyla that are really important. First of all, she went through something difficult, but she didn't let that, drive her down, even though it was hard. She found ways to cope with it. So if she sees challenging situations in the future, she's likely to be able to cope with them. Secondly, she coped with it in a really productive way by trying to educate other people about something important. And she also is committed to continuing to do that at her next institution. Who wouldn't want someone like that to join their college, right? That's exactly the kind of student you want. Someone who can overcome challenge, who has initiated productive coping mechanisms, and who's committed to making sure that the future is bright at their next institution, okay? Now, I want to go through another one, at least one more of hers, I think just this one, because sometimes you'll be asked to justify your academic interests. And in Kyla's case, her academic interests were related to things she studied at RCC, but she didn't get as much of a chance to study what she wanted to at RCC as she may have hoped. And that's going to become clear in her answer. So the question is, describe how you plan to pursue your academic interests at USC. Please feel free to address your first and second choice major selections. They had a ranking system, first and second choice. Here's how she answered it. Throughout the first 2 years of my undergrad experience, I have been enrolled in the Sam Draper Honors Program at Rockland Community College. My degree required me to take courses in a number of different fields, and this allowed me to explore my scholarly interest and to clarify my academic goals. Taking courses in both the social and natural sciences spurred my interest in the psychological and biological disciplines, and I became fascinated by the way in which they influence and coincide with one another. Examining current cultural phenomena, human development, and evolutionary psychology through the lens of biology allows us to answer pertinent questions about human behavior. I also have found myself intrigued by lab work, genetics, and other aspects of biology. This past semester, I wrote a research paper exploring the biological and psychological factors that contribute to drug addiction, specifically focusing on the occurrence of single nucleotide polymorphisms in genes that contribute to an increased predisposition for the disease of addiction. My interdisciplinary approach in this paper promoted my interest in the neuroscience major offered by the University of Southern California. Alternately, pursuing a BA in psychology would also allow me to pursue the interest I have in human behavior and its root in neurological processes. The University of Southern California is renowned for its academic rigor in the social and natural sciences, and I am eager to pursue these disciplines in such a motivated and research-intensive community. Now, Kyla's answer here is excellent because she talks about, first of all, how she was exposed to lots of different fields at RCC, and those two fields that really stuck with her were the social sciences and the natural sciences. And if you'll see, those line up with her major choices for USC, right? She's very, very interested in neuroscience. She's also interested in psychology. She uses a specific project from a class. In this case, it was Bio 105. It was General Biology 1. And she talks about the research paper that she wrote, and specifically the focus on the disease of addiction. She also continues to mention her interdisciplinary approach, right? How she's interested in both the social and the natural sciences. She answers the question very well and with specifics, and she also makes sure to cover both her first choice major and her second choice major. Now, what's really interesting about this answer, and here I'm going to scroll back up, okay, to part of her essay that we did not read. Remember that if you are writing multiple essay responses for one school, all the essays work together. You need to be very careful not to repeat yourself too much, okay? You definitely can't repeat the same sentences over and over in different essays. You don't want to have the same argument for all of your essays. You want instead to have each essay working as a piece of the puzzle, and that puzzle leads to you being a perfect fit at that institution, okay? In the essay we didn't read from Kyla, it was similar in a way to Niola's in the sense that it's talking about what her objectives are and her goals. But I want to call out one part of her essay because it helps you understand why she wants neuroscience and psychology so badly, okay? She talks about her high school and the lack of science curriculum in her high school, and I'm looking specifically at this part here. In my high school, our curriculum did not involve many science classes, and attending RCC helped me to discover my interest in the study of human behavior, as well as the intersection between psychology and biology. For this reason, I plan to pursue a major in neuroscience, psychology, or a discipline relating to behavioral biology. And we see how she elaborates on those interests in her final essay. Here is where things get really interesting, and another example of a way to deal with a challenging situation productively in a college essay. Ultimately, my goal is to research solutions for contemporary health crises such as opioid addiction, as I have grown up in a family where addiction and recovery have been prominent. Because of this, my passion for combating the disease of addiction holds both personal and academic significance. I am interested specifically in the Dana and David Dornsife College at USC, that's their liberal arts college, because of its academic rigor, again, minor issue here, minor typo, not a big deal, and core curriculum, which would offer me opportunities to take courses in a variety of subject areas in tandem with my major. Okay? So she goes on to justify her choice of the part of USC that she is applying to, just as Niola justified her choice as well. The reason I wanted to show you this particular section is because it's another example of Kyla incorporating a very personal detail about herself, but doing it in a very professional way. She does not, ask us for tons of pity or a little bit of sympathy maybe, but not pity. She instead turns her family situation into motivation for her to pursue her studies. And that works really, really well. I'll scroll down again. When we get down to this last question, which we just looked at, and we understand that her passion for neuroscience and psychology has a lot of different facets to it. It's about what she learned at RCC in her biology and her psychology classes. It comes from a very personal place where she wants to work on solving and healing the disease of addiction because that has impacted her family. All of this comes together to make her a very convincing, very strong, very believable candidate. Now, as we close, because I'm about to wrap up here, I just want to tell you what happened to Kyla and Niola, because you might be wondering. Niola didn't actually go to Cornell. She went to Johns Hopkins instead. And, a couple days ago, she just sent me her personal statement for a master's in public health program. So she's about to graduate and go pursue a master's in public health. And I couldn't be prouder of her. I mean, she's done such a wonderful job at Johns Hopkins, and she's about to take her steps into graduate school. And for Kyla, the situation is similar. When she went to USC, the first thing she did was to go and seek out lab research opportunities. She did an interview with a lab studying addiction, studying alcohol addiction in particular. And I remember the first 2 weeks she was there, I had a conversation with the mentor in her lab who was asking me as a reference for Kyla. And because I'd gotten to know Kyla really well, I was able to talk a lot about her passion for this work and how hard of a worker she is. She ended up being very successful in that lab. She's co-authored papers with other researchers in that lab, and she's now applying to PhD programs in clinical psychology, and she's already gotten a few interviews. So I close with that because, remember, this is a stepping stone. This experience is a stepping stone, and if you do it like Kyla and you do it like Niola, you can present a really strong, trajectory for yourself. And nobody is going to hold you to what you write in these essays, but you do want to make sure that the essays reveal who you are, what you value, and why those things, who you are and what you value, the experiences you have, why they will be such a positive fit for your next institution, okay? You also want to make sure that you are answering the question within the confines of the word count, that you show this essay to multiple people whom you trust, including English teachers, who can help you with the nitty-gritty of it. You'll notice these essays are very clear and very well written, and that happened over a process of revision and revision and revision. So good luck as you write your essays. If you are an RCC student, I am always happy to help you, and wishing you all the best as you move forward in your transfer experience.